Hey, Comfy Couch crew, it's me again, Nikki, the podcast host of My Comfy Couch. I'm a life coach, crisis counselor. I'm here trying to connect single men and women through honest conversations. So, tonight I'm going to answer a question that I received. The question was, how do I move on? I have no one. Now, that was a really short question, but that was so powerful. And I want everyone watching who actually clicked on this video, because maybe you're thinking you need help with this, I need you to take out something to write with, because I'm going to give you the step-by-step guide of what I did to move on from someone that I loved and I was heartbroken about. So I really hope this video resonates with you, because there are way too many people that are stepping into new relationships or that are single and available out here that are still holding on to hurt feelings that they've had from previous relationships. So please take notes, and I really hope that you implement this in your life. So step number one is separation. Now, I know sometimes we're thinking like, okay, well, we can still be friends. We can hang out sometimes, or at least just do the checkup phone call. This is a terrible idea. When you're first breaking up with someone, you need to feel that space. Like, it can't be like how it was before, where you guys were hanging out and spending time. Like, it needs to feel like you guys really are legit not together anymore. And that makes it more real to you and the person that you're trying to separate from. So no, it's not gonna work being platonic right away. You need that time to separate. Now you're probably thinking like, okay, I'm gonna miss the person so much, I don't think I have the strength to do it. So that's why you gotta pay attention to these other steps that I'm gonna give you, because you're not just gonna be sitting around like nerve-wrackingly waiting or trying not to fight the urge to contact this person. So again, step number one, separation is key. It is essential as the very first step when you break up or you're trying to move on from someone. Now, the exception is if you have kids. If you have kids with a person, you're still gonna co-parent, but again, there needs to be a difference. You can't be, messing around sometimes, after you guys break up, or speaking romantically, or keeping in touch outside of the kids. There needs to be a clear delineation between what the previous relationship was when you guys were together and what the relationship is now. Again, I know this is not easy. It's not an overnight type thing, but you need to separate. There needs to be a divide. Step number one. The next step is you're going to have to establish who your support group is. And this is really key because, like I said, I don't want you just sitting around, twiddling your thumbs and wondering, oh my God, I really want to contact this person. You need to identify who is it within your circle that you could really lean on during this time. Is it a friend? Is it a family member? Sometimes it's not family because they probably think, okay, you should just get over it. They're not really empathetic to the situation. Maybe it's a therapist, someone that you need to be there for you, that can really empathize and that you can call when you really need to reach out to someone that you could be really transparent and honest with about what you're going through. So I would say make that step number two is to sit down and write, okay, who are the 2 or 3 people that I can reach out to, when I'm really feeling like I need to talk to someone about this, when I'm really feeling like I need someone to pray with me or I need that additional support. You really need to identify that early on because those urges are going to come. So you want to make sure that you do have that on deck. So when that does happen, you can reach out to those people. The next step that I wanted to mention was you want to see what are you going to spend your time doing? Because again, you don't want to, just sit around waiting for that person. What is it you're going to do? Like, are you going to get into a hobbies? This is a perfect time for you to do some self-development. If you were thinking of taking a course, going back to school and taking that course, find someone to help at this time. That might be counterintuitive, but it's good to give when you yourself feel like you need help. Maybe you can volunteer somewhere, because sometimes helping other people shows you how good you have life and how people are going through things that might be way more traumatic than what you're going through. Not to minimize what you're going through, but you want to keep yourself busy doing things that are going to improve yourself, help others, and keep your mind off of this person. Now, I'm not trying to say for you to kill yourself, at work and totally, shun the feelings you have, which is step number 3, actually dealing with the feelings. That's another thing that you want to do too, is you want to make sure, step number 4, you want to deal with those feelings. It is okay to feel sad about it. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be hurt. You don't want to just become a workaholic or do things to get rid of those feelings. You want to address those feelings head on when they come. The more you are in touch with how you feel, the more that you can, get over the situation. If you keep just suppressing it and keeping your time busy with doing other things and not working on the healing and letting yourself cry, letting yourself get that out, then you're not really going to move on fully. Which leads me to the next step is, how are you going to get that out? I was journaling. That was something that really helped me, get those feelings out. So what are you going to do when you have those thoughts and feelings? You have to make a plan, because inevitably those feelings are going to come. You're going to want to call the person. You're going to want to get in contact with them. You're going to want to see them. You might start getting horny, and you're really starting to get tempted to reach out to that person, or that person is coming and reaching out to you. So what are you going to do? What's going to be your plan? Are you going to reach out to this person? Are you going to, go for a run? Are you going to take a walk? Are you going to, again, journal or find something to do and have that plan in place? So when you're feeling those feelings of wanting to get back with that person, that you have that plan set in place. Another thing that you need to do, which I think is so important, is forgiveness. Lots and lots of times we have an issue where we're not forgiving this person, or we're not forgiving ourselves for what we've done in the situation. And that unforgiveness, or that feeling of guilt, that just lingers with us, and it just multiplies. The more people we meet, the more things don't work out. Then now we have this mountain of guilt and remorse and these feelings of anger against these line of people. Like, forgiveness is, like they said, it's not for the other person, it's for you. When you hold unforgiveness in your heart, it shows. It has negative effects on your health. It shows in your relationships. It could affect your work, you advancing in life. Like, unforgiveness is a killer. It's a silent killer, because it's not something that, you just see, like, obesity or something like that. It's something that's inside that just rots and it grows when you're by yourself at night, or when you're by yourself and you have those thoughts and you just keep going over and over things in your brain that have happened. So you must take the time to sit there and forgive that person. I recommend writing a letter. You can sit down and write a letter to that person as if you were speaking to them, telling them all the things about the way they made you feel, or how you are sorry about how you made them feel. And write that apology letter. Don't send it to them. You don't have to give it to them. This is an exercise for you to get all of that out. Write that letter to that person, forgiving them. Name the things. Get very detailed. Get every single thought about how you feel, about what happened, every memory that's going through your mind. Write all of that shit out. And have that as an exercise where you crumble it up. Get rid of it, because you need to forgive that person, and you need to forgive yourself. In order to move on, you cannot skip this step. The next thing I'm going to say is one big one too that I feel like many of us have an issue with, is closure. Oftentimes we feel like, if that person does not say sorry, or if we didn't have our final, blowout where we spoke about everything that happened, that you just can't move on. You have to give yourself closure. Sometimes that person really is not sorry. Sometimes that person does not want to hear your apology. You have to get closure yourself. It doesn't matter what that person says. You have to give it to yourself. You have to close it on your own. And I know that is so hard to do, but you have to really sit and make a decision that you are going to have closure. If that person wasn't sorry, again, you forgave them. If that person don't want to hear your apology, you letting that go, because you're willing to, apologize. So closure is a huge one, and no one can give that to you, only yourself. So if you feel like there's lingering issues you've had from relationships you've been in, or you're trying to move on from, and you just feel like, if I could just talk to them again, if we could just have that one moment of clarity where they explain to me why they did this, or why it wasn't me, or if I could just say sorry for the things I did, it's not necessary. You have to find closure yourself. You've got to close that chapter in your book and do the work to move on. So next step, the work to move on. this is another big one. You have to identify where you went wrong. Now, I know it's easy to just put the blame on the other person and talk about everything they didn't do and how they probably made you, react this way or how things fell apart. But you have to take ownership of the things that you did to bring to this demise. Even if it's like the person cheated on you or did something to you. Was there something that you could have done differently? And I know I have said this in like a gazillion of these videos, but sometimes the issue is we keep picking the wrong kind of person. So we are the common denominator. Do you keep going for the same kind of person? So if you do and you keep getting the same result, that's partially on you. What did you do in this relationship that you need to change? Is it that you need to create standards? Some of y'all out here don't have standards. When y'all really like someone, you can have a list of standards beforehand, but once you get in the presence of someone that you really like, all your standards go out the window. So maybe it's that. Maybe you need to say, hey, before I engage with someone in this kind of way, I need X, Y, and Z in place. What is it that you think you could have done differently? And trust me, 99% of the times, there is something that you could have done better, to help you in your next situation. So sit down and be honest with yourself and write down, hey, what is it that I need to do better to avoid this from happening again? And then lastly, I always want you to look into the future and visualize how you want your life to be, the kind of person that you'd like to be, and work towards that. I definitely recommend you writing down, hey, what are the attributes of the person that I'd like to become, and how can I work towards those? So list those 4 or 5 attributes, the things that you envision yourself as when you close your eyes and you think, okay, when I see myself in my ideal world, what does that look like? What does it smell like? What am I wearing? Where am I living? Who am I surrounded by? Like, what does that look like? Like, envision that and compare that to where you are now. And, jot down 4 or 5 things that you feel like you can work towards from your current situation, and write down how exactly do you plan to get there. Do you need to sign up for the gym? Do you need to get a trainer? Do you need to sign up for a course? Do you need to do a plan for you to advance in your career? Do you need to do a plan to become a better parent? Like, I'm sure there are ways that you can improve in your life, and you can spend this time making a plan and working towards improving. Because trust me, when you improve and become a better person, you're going to attract better people and attract the people that are more suited for where you want to be in life. This is a real deep topic, and I really want you to watch this video again and really get it, because there are way too many people walking around hurt. Way too many people that are just hurting other people or staying single because they just don't want to go through those experiences again. So I want you to really watch this video, do the steps, and let me know if this was helpful. And, add in the comments any other tips that you could give to people for what you've done to help move on. It's going to be a process. Like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. But if you really work at it, I promise you, as I have and as many others have, you can move on too. And not only will you move on, but you'll move on wiser and as a better person and more prepared to be a better partner in your next relationship. Thank you so much for always supporting My Comfy Couch. If you found this valuable, please put like, leave us a comment if you have anything to add to the conversation. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and let me know what you guys want to hear us talk about, okay? And I'll see you next time on My Comfy Couch. Toodles!